I see you. Die hard. Trav. We gonna do this one the right way. We in here forever. Yeah. Die hard. Homie, die hard. You can check the swag, he the realest by far. Swimming in that blue and orange, he the lifeguard. Yeah, he been through pain, at least he got some nice scars. He can smell a trophy, yeah, you need it back to back. Represent himself, his own name is on his back. 10 toes down, try to stop him, he come back. Bandwagon hoppers, he will knock you off your tracks. You ain't saying nothing, Nero been here from the start. He been working in the lab to take his team and make it art. See him going over film to help him build and make him smart. He will tell you how he feels because he's real and he got heart. He will never fade away, he will never change his face. Everybody picking faves and he's feeling out of place. Cause he is for the team and he always rep the squad. Like that Christmas movie, he gon' always die hard. City on my back. They ask me what's my name and it's on my back. I'm just speaking facts. We got big dreams, we ain't looking back. We be really die hard, yeah, that's a fact. We be really die hard, ain't no going back. Make the whole crowd rise like a thermostat. Fourth quarter, I'm the killer that's gonna murder that.
Bang, bang, bang. What's good, guys? It's your boy, Eru, host of the Knicks podcast. I haven't been around in a while, man. It was my wedding anniversary this weekend, man. So I had to spend time with my wife and stuff. 10 years anniversary, so didn't go quite as planned, you know what I'm saying? But we still got a chance to, enjoy the time together, man. I love my wife with all my heart, man. But, as you know, you can't stand them. Like, you love them to death, but then you can't stand them just as much, man. So I can't live without her. So, that's what I was doing this weekend, man. So that's what caused a little bit of a delay. But anyway, I just finally want to get this podcast out because I want to talk about, of course, salary cap and stuff like that. Because these trades, these trades that keep coming out, everyone keeps saying, oh, we could trade for this guy, we could trade for that guy, cool. But then there's also signings too. Oh, we could sign this guy, sign that guy. This guy's a free agent, that guy's a free agent. But listen, man, let's be realistic here, man. I'll put up the stats here. This is Basketball Reference. Let me get my beautiful self on it over here. So anyway, this is Basketball Reference. These are all the guys we have on the contract. So major guys, Jalen Brunson's 27, Julius 23. But take a peek. Fournier still we still owe him $18 million next year. He has a player option the year after, but we got $18 million on the cap for him. Mitchell Robinson, 17, 15, decent contract. Derrick Rose is a contract that we could waive. I believe that blue is team option. So the Knicks are just going to waive Rose. So Rose we'll be losing $15 million, but the Knicks are over the cap. So even by waiving Derrick Rose off the books, we don't clear up. It's not that we're going to clear up $40 million, and we're not even going to clear up the 15. For those that like to get deep into the salary cap, those numbers and stuff like that, you can figure that on yourself here. But just by looking at does it have it here? No, they don't have it here. But I mean, the guarantee cap that these teams are allowed to have, and without going over the cap threshold, where we can actually sign players, the Knicks are over that threshold. You know what I'm saying? So you can fact check me for that if you want to. But you got Josh Hart, who we want to sign. So whatever we sign, that money's going to go to Josh Hart, right? So we got R.J. Barrett's finally going to come on to his $23 million a year contract. Hartenstein got 8. And everybody else is basically player contracts. Obi Toppin, $6 million on a team option. Excuse me. IQ's on the team option with $4 million. Quentin Grimes on the team option. Jericho Sims is guaranteed. McBride is on the team option. So in order for us to clear a cap, we're going to have to get rid of those guys. You know what I'm saying? So if we're going to get rid of them, we can just straight out waive them, and then we'll be able to look into salary cap at that point. But I don't think that's what we're going to do, right? Is that what people want to do? Just simply just waive these guys because Obi Toppin is, as you can see here, after the season he's going to be due a new contract. Same thing with Quickly. Grimes eventually is going to need another contract as well. Jericho Sims is going to need another contract soon. McBride as well, if you like McBride. So these are different things that we need to talk about. But one thing that nobody talks about is some of these other guys at the bottom here. You got Isaiah Roby, you got Daquan Jeffries, and you got Dwayne Washington Jr. Those are the 3 names that I'm going to talk about today in this podcast. Trevor Keels, I believe we had waived him, and then we signed him again. So he's going to be a free agent too, but it's all up to him to get his cardio and his health together because I think he's a little bit too heavy. His skill set is not up to par where it needs to be, especially for somebody that was highly touted coming out of high school. So he's got to get himself in shape, Trevor Keel. So I don't know if he's going to be a part of the Knicks plans, but he's a part of the Knicks organization. So the Knicks are keeping a close eye on that kid. But I want to talk about Daquan Jeffries for first, if we could do that. This is Daquan here. We've been attached to Daquan for a couple of years now. He was sent to our G League team. He played summer league for us a couple times. Even in summer league, he didn't really get on the ball a lot. He didn't really get a lot of minutes and stuff like that. But for some reason, somebody in the organization loves him, and that main person that loves him is Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau is the main guy. If you don't play defense and if you're not tough and whatever else, you're not doing whatever he expects of you to do, then you're not going to play. But this kid has got basically secured a spot without playing basically not even that many minutes as a player. So if you're going to find any real highlights on him, it's going to be the G League. So I'm going to play a little bit of highlights for him here. So I mean, as you can see, just the same, nothing special. He reminds me of a Bruce Brown kind of player, the guy that plays for Denver. Just a very tough guy. He can handle the ball a little bit, very strong defensively. You can see him really on the ball, getting after it on defense, snatches it, nice full court player. He can get up too. He doesn't really explode, from distance, but he can jump and get up, to the rim, just as good as anybody. Nice, strong finisher, as you can see. He could do this stuff on the pro level too. This is Westchester. He's been a big time leader for them. The people are talking about him as a leader. But as you can see, he has like little things that can help teams win. And it's something that we can get on the cheap too. And we'll get into his salary in a second because he's actually not cheap. For somebody that's never played a game for us, his contract situation is actually not necessarily cheap here. But as you can see here, he's very poised, and you can see that he's more poised than basically everybody else on the roster. He kind of doesn't belong in the G League. So this is a player that I think could fit in right away from day one, provide the defense, provide the shooting, and provide a little bit of leadership as well. I think this is somebody that if we were to go that route where we start, just unloading contracts because we can't afford to pay them later on, get rid of some of these guys. I think a guy like Daquan Jeffries can swoop in and take a spot, take a backup shooting guard spot. You know what I'm saying? Especially if we decide to sign somebody, if we decide to sign or trade for somebody of significance to play that starting shooting guard spot, this guy Daquan Jeffries could slide in and play the backup too with no problem, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, let's get this up out of here, and let's take a look at Daquan Jeffries playoff game logs here. This is regular game logs. This is his entire season game logs. Didn't play much, like I said. Didn't play really at all. He gets his first minutes of the season in the playoffs. As you can see here, he played 3 minutes and 41 seconds in that first game. He played 54 seconds in against Miami. But the one that's significant here with the Cleveland game is this right here. This is what happened to him. Shout out to Daquan. This is shout out to NBA New York on Twitter there. He says, shout out to Daquan Jeffries. Gets his first minutes as a Knick in a playoff game. Immediately starts a fight, which is exactly what he did. He got into a fight with Robin Lopez, and this is what he did to him. He folded him up. He folded him up and had him there. And Robin Lopez is volatile. So Robin Lopez, he was pissed off, and it kind of was crazy a little bit for a hot second. But I'm just trying to explain what he would bring to the table. Because I mean, a guy like Quentin Grimes, even though he plays really good defense, and we want his jump shot to be there, we want his scoring ability to be there. But I think, let's say if it came down to it, this guy Daquan Jeffries could come in there and play just as good as defense. Come in there and just provide some of the things that we would need in a backup kind of thing here. Because that's one thing that annoys me too about the conversation is that everyone keeps talking about signing guys to be backups. It's like, how many backups do we need? Everyone keeps talking about Julius Randle. We need to get rid of Julius Randle. But if we're going to make a trade, then why can't we make a trade to replace Julius Randle? It's really just make a trade to just get rid of him, not to really replace him in the starting lineup. But every other rumor, like Chris Paul, for instance, let's get Chris Paul here so he could be on the bench and mentor. Like, that's crazy. When are we going to upgrade the talent level at the starting position? When are we going to get better so our starters don't have to suffer? Because that's the problem. Julius Randle is in a position that he's in because we don't have nobody else better to take that spot from him. Brunson is that guy now, but now we need that extra person to step in and be that number two. RJ's not ready yet. Is he going to be ready next year? Based off his playoff performance, everybody swear to God that he is. But based on history, RJ is not doesn't seem to be ready for that second spot. So we got to find somebody to fill in that spot. Is the answer is just not to just get rid of guys. So anyway, talking about the bench guys, OB and IQ and all these other guys here that we have on the roster. Like I said, a guy like Daquan might actually be able to do it. So let's talk about his salary real quick. I'm going to use Hoops Hype, for this, because it shows what the Knicks paid for him this year, which was $799, which to me seems like a lot. I don't know what the minimum is for the league right now, but I feel like that's more than the minimum there. And then next year, as you can see, he has a guaranteed 2.2 of just 2 million, $2.06 million for next year. I believe it's non-guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? I believe it's non-guaranteed, but still, that number is there. It's $2 million they pay for that guy for next year. So that means they must want him to be involved in the daily goings ons with the Knicks. $2.2 million. That's a lot of money, man, for somebody that's supposed to be a G League guy or somebody that nobody talks about ever. So I mean, somebody has him in the plans. So is that foreshadowing, like I'm saying, to get rid of some of the guys that we actually have on the roster? Like I said, everybody wants to get rid of Fournier, but we still owe him $18 million plus 19 next year, the player option. You know what I'm saying? That has to be dealt with because if he's traded, he has the team is going to have to guarantee that 19 for the following year. It's a lot of politics having to do with these salaries here. Like I said, Dirk Rose just waiving him the 15 million doesn't give us 15 million to spend because, like I said, we're over the cap. And then, like I said, we're simply not going to just waive Obi, Emmanuel Quickly, Quentin Grimes, and the rest of these guys. We're just not going to do that. That doesn't make any sense. But like I said, via trade, if you're going to trade Julius, right, maybe we might be able to stick one of these guys in there. Or maybe if you're going to trade Fournier to get off that $18 million, maybe we throw one of these other guys for the ride. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't afford to extend them. At least not all of them. So that's a conversation to have in another podcast. But let's keep moving here. This is another player here that I really like, man. I talked about him a couple times. So I talked about Daquan also on this channel a couple times. But this guy Isaiah Roby, he's lately was playing for the San Antonio Spurs. I have no idea why OKC got rid of him. The thing with OKC is they have too much talent that are just about even. So they made a decision based off his salary to get rid of Isaiah Roby, not because of talent wise, just because they just have too many guys that play his spot, and everybody's playing. The whole roster is averaging like 15 minutes per game. You know what I'm saying? That this is not going to cut it. If you're trying to get the most out of young players. So anyway, like I said, this guy comes from a good family, hard worker. You know what I'm saying? He's always been a hard worker throughout his career. Very strong, high jumper. Very fundamentally sound. Could shoot the three, put the ball on the floor. He could post up. The guy could do it all. So how did he end up on the Knicks after getting waived so much? So that's something that could be answered too through highlights. But I already went through this before with him with the highlights and stuff. So you could take a look at these highlights at your leisure. The San Antonio, you might not find the big juicy ones, but OKC, look, 30 points one game here. Several games here they play well. There's actually a video here that this guy did. His name is Noah Magaro George. He actually broke down his defense. So if you can just Google Isaiah Roby San Antonio Spurs, and then you can check out his what he was saying about his defense. He has really good hands. Very long. You know what I'm saying? He can guard all positions basically. They had him playing center in OKC, but defensively he can guard power forward, small forward, center. You know what I'm saying? He's good enough to switch out. And like I said, once he does get, like, say if you get the team steal or team block or something like that, or defensive stop rebound, he's able to get out on a break and handle and actually finish. And you can see like the little bit of highlights here that I got shown here. So he's a good player. I just don't understand how the Knicks got him there. So right off the bat for me, a guy like Isaiah Roby, like he replaces Obi Toppin for me. Obi Toppin can shoot the three, that's fine. Isaiah Roby can shoot the three as well. If you want to talk about rebounding, a little bit of toughness on the inside, being able to guard and actually play the physical position on the inside, Isaiah Roby is that guy. Isaiah Roby is absolutely that guy. So he also has a little bit of height to him. I believe he's like six. They might have listed him as 6'8" or something like that. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm just talking him up because this is the actual player that we need backing up with Julius Randle. So when Julius Randle acts up, you throw Isaiah Roby in there. And now you see Isaiah Roby, actually doing something, the stuff that Julius does inside. Look at it. You can see him inside throwing his body around. Guys are stepping back because Isaiah Roby's strong. He got some strength to him. If you want to talk about a guy that could dribble and get the ball up the court and shoot the mid-range jump shot, Isaiah Roby could do that. So if Julius Randle is your guy that he's having a bad game and then you can't rely on him, put Julius out and stick a guy like Isaiah in there. And as you can see, look, Isaiah Roby can get in there and play that big man role for us at that four position that we need. You know what I'm saying? That we need to come off the bench. Now, I particularly think that this kid could do more than that. Just based off of what he was doing in OKC, I think the kid could do more. I think he can actually start full time for the Knicks. But that's something that we're gonna have to figure out. But let's take a look at his salary because his salary is also bugged out too. The Knicks paid $400,000 for him last year just to keep him for 2 games. There was only 2 games left in the season, and the Knicks signed him, for the remainder of the year for 400,000. So San Antonio picked up the rest of it. Because he was signed for two something. So San Antonio picked up the 1.9 of his contract, and the Knicks picked up 400,000 out of that. So, but look at the next year for 2023-24, this guy's also making $2 million next year. So what's going on with Daquan Jeffries and his salary? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, for those that want to fact check it and stuff like that, you can fact check it. You might find something different. But according to Hoopside salary here, they both are making the same. The 2 point something is non-guaranteed, yes. But still the guys are going to be given a chance in training camp to make the roster. So like I said, I'm a big fan of Isaiah Roby, and I think Isaiah Roby can come in here and actually fill that spot nicely coming off the bench to give us that physicality that we've been looking for, the defense that we've been looking for. He's able to rebound. He can still shoot the three. So and he can still, if you guys like to see dunks and stuff like that, the guy can still dunk too, just like Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin is more of a small forward. So I mean, I'm just not like I'm trying to get rid of Obi Toppin, but if it came down to it where we need to throw Obi Toppin into the mix of a trade where we put Obi Toppin and Rose in a trade or anybody else in a trade, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't feel so bad because I know we got this kid on the roster to hold us down. And I don't think there's any signs that this kid is going to let me down too as far as making the roster. He will make the roster, I believe. Unless the Knicks go a different way where we add Isaiah Roby to a trade or add Daquan Jeffries to a trade to make something work. You know what I'm saying? So that's why that 2 point something million that he's made that he's gonna be making next year is significant because the Knicks could guarantee the contracts and then use that as a trade to move along off of somebody. So that's interesting too. But I'm looking at from the perspective that we sign these guys for a reason. There are two reasons, but one reason that I like is that they actually fit the role better on our team than the actual players that are on the team. You know what I'm saying? So that's interesting for me. So I really enjoy Isaiah Roby. If you want to find out more about my thoughts on Isaiah Roby, you can just check out my other podcast. I did 2 of them on Isaiah Roby. I did about 2 of them on Daquan Jeffries as well. One person that we haven't talked about at all on this channel, and I don't really see anybody else talking about, is this kid here, Dwayne Washington Jr. Now, actually, I did talk about him before, and especially when he signed him. 6'3", 210 pound guard. He played for Indiana. So there are highlights out there of him playing against the Knicks when he was on Indiana, and he held it down. He was starting for them. He was scoring. He was making key plays for them. They almost won the game on his back. You know what I'm saying? So this is the type of player that this guy, Dwayne Washington Jr. is. He's a guy that could take on the offensive, burden and score buckets. He can get buckets. 6'3", 210 pounds. He's a little bit light. But he's 23 years old. His uncle is Derek Fisher, so I don't know if he's going to try to steal anybody's wife. But I mean, listen, the guy he's a scorer, man. So I mean, he's another guy that you have to really look at his highlights here to really see what he's about. So as you can see, during regular season games, this is not like BS games. This is like in the middle of the season games, 25 points when guys got hurt in Phoenix. He got 25 points, 5 threes. That's when Chris Paul was hurt. This is some stuff that he was doing with the Knicks in the summer league. 31 points. Like I said, this is October 12th. You know what I'm saying? This is when guys were hurt, in preseason or whatever you want to say. Here's another game here. 26 points, 8 rebounds. This was in around Christmas, 12-27. So this was during a real regular season game where when he got the opportunity, he scored a lot of points. Here's just highlights from Indiana too, when he had a little bit of longer hair. So anyway, I really believe in this kid. I think this kid is a diamond in the rough. People say, oh, the Knicks need to find diamonds in the rough. Here we go. This guy here, if he can continue to translate this, if he was to be given a larger role, could he not necessarily get 20 points per game, but could he at least give you double figure points per game coming off the bench? He definitely can shoot it. He definitely can get to the basket. He's a really good basketball player. So this is somebody that I believe in. So I challenge those that are watching this to please check out his highlights. Just go to YouTube, check out whatever highlights you want to check out, and you'll be able to find out everything you need to know about this kid. And like I said, I really believe in him. I really think he's a good player. Here's something interesting with him. He's I had to use spot track because they have nothing on any other site about him really. He's a restricted free agent. So the Knicks signed him to a non-guaranteed contract last year, but we still retain his rights as a restricted free agent. So that's interesting too. So that means that he really can't do anything. If he signs with another team, he has to kind of just like wait to see what the Knicks do with him. But the Knicks can match it. Let's say if he signed a like an easy contract, like maybe like a 2 year, $4 million contract. If the Knicks really wanted him, the Knicks could keep him. Or if another team wanted to sign him to the minimum, the Knicks could just match the contract and keep him. You know what I'm saying? So the Knicks have his rights. So that's interesting too. So why go through the trouble of keeping a guy like Daquan Jeffries around and keeping him around for 2 million? What's the point of keeping a guy like Isaiah Roby around for 2 million for next year? What's the point of having keeping Isaiah Roby around where we have his restricted free agent rights and where we can use him either via trade or we can actually retain him if we make trades and get rid of players, and we'll be able to keep him in the fold to help us out going forward. What's the deal with that? I really think the Knicks really believe in these guys. Like I said, these guys see the same thing that I see because I've been talking about Dwayne Washington Jr. ever since he bust our ass in Indiana. I really think this guy's a good basketball player. So if he makes it on the roster, I think he would be a problem because he's going to play extremely hard for Tom Thibodeau, and I don't think Tom Thibodeau can keep a guy like that down. He's going to have to play him. Same thing with Daquan. Daquan is a guy that's very rough, defensive minded guy. So if we do make trades and stuff like that, he's definitely going to get up in there. He's definitely going to get up in the mix. And like I said, I really believe in this kid. I'm looking at it. He's 6'8", but he's a big boy, man. He got some weight to him and stuff. So let me see here. What did they list him as? They list him as 229. So he's a thick boy, man. The guy got big old calves. He could jump. So I mean, he's a good. I really believe in this kid. I really think he's that good. At least to be a spot starter. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody that can actually back up Julius. Where Julius is acting up, we could put him in, and we'll be fine until Julius can calm down. You know what I'm saying? I really believe that. So there's quite a few other guys that we could pick up. I'm looking at the chat here. I see Isaiah, my man. I am Jarrell. He just mentioned Kai Soto. So Kai Soto, he's available, man, as a center. That's somebody that we can pick up. But let me drop this for a second because there's another player that I have on the avatar for this thing here that that we all seem to forget about when it comes to the center spot. Give me a second. When it comes to the center spot, now everybody knows I'm not the biggest fan of I'm not the biggest fan of Mitchell Robinson. Because for the simple fact, Mitch Robinson's a good kid. You can see he's a good kid. He just posted some pictures of him hanging out in what he called AC. So when you're 25 years old, that's what you do. You get your boys together, you go to AC, and you hang out and have a good time. So that's what you do when you're 25. So I got nothing against him going to Atlantic City and having fun with his boys. But what I do have a problem with it is just that to me he's a little bit too silly to be an enforcer. He's not like the guys were manhandling him against Miami. He played well against Cleveland, but you can't play well against Cleveland and talk shit and then get your ass handed to you in the next series. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm just really not a fan of him. He can't score. You can't give him the ball and he can't score. He can he's shown that he can shoot the jump shot, but in 5 years he only taken 2 jump shots in his entire career. Every time in the offseason you see him playing pickup with his cousins, dribbling the ball between his legs and shooting threes and that type of thing. But meanwhile, the guy can't make a layup to save his life. You can't give him the ball. He can't make a simple jump hook in the lane. He can't get the ball. He's every shot, but in the paint, he's just trying to dunk it. Sometimes these plays, all he got to do is lay it up. All he got to do is make a simple big man move and just lay it up. But he tries to dunk everything, and sometimes it's a detriment to the team. Causes a lot of turnovers. He gets himself hurt a lot. A lot of times it's just like sometimes instead of just trying to just get it up in there and bang it, sometimes all you got to do is turn around and just drop it in. Turn around and drop it in, or just like maybe do not even a spin, just drive, bump, and then just lay it up. But he wants to drive, bump, and then try to bang it in there, and then he can't make free throws. So anyway, I don't want to make this into a Julius Randle thing, but this guy, people forget about Jericho Sims. So Jericho Sims is another guy. He just has shoulder surgery. The guy could jump out the gym, and when he's played minutes, he showed the ability to finish on the inside. He showed the ability to rebound. He showed the ability to throw his body around, not necessarily play dirty. But Jericho Sims is so clumsy that you have to watch yourself when you're with him because he's gonna fucking knock you out with that big body that he has. So with Mitchell Robinson, you don't have to worry about that because Mitchell Robinson doesn't play that way. He plays very soft for a guy that's supposed to be a defensive player. So if we were to put Mitchell Robinson in a deal on to spice up the deal to get a good player here, you know what I'm saying, to get a good player here to fill a spot. Jericho Sims, I believe that he can fill in for Mitchell Robinson, especially with Hartenstein here. You know, so I'm not talking about trading to get a backup guy. 'Cause that's what most people are talking about. Oh, let's trade to get this guy to be our backup. No. I'm talking about if the Knicks put a package together to get like a cat, you know, without trading Julius, without trading Brunson, without trading RJ as well. If you put a mix of other players together to trade over there to Minnesota to get Cat over here, then I wouldn't mind having Jericho Sims here to be the backup center if need be. So maybe a Hardenstein might be in the mix of in the trade, something like that. But this guy Jericho Sims, I feel like that we can keep him, and he will be a positive player for us. So I mean, the Knicks are gonna have to be creative, man. This signing guys to be mentors to our youth, that's no good. I don't think that's the right place for us to be. We made the playoffs two years on the Tom Thibodeau. We missed the playoffs though. We missed the playoffs the year before. So we made the playoffs and then we missed the playoffs and then we made the playoffs. So if the Knicks don't make the right moves now to get better, we're gonna miss the playoffs again. So all the talk about getting trading for backups or signing guys to be backups, if we're gonna be talking about that, then we're gonna be miss the playoffs again next year. We can't do that. We can't do that. If we do that, then everybody got to go. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want that. We have to be putting too much time into Grimes. Too much weight is into certain players for them to grow into a spot. So chances are Grimes. Let's say Grimes, he could become that next guy. Grimes, I would love for him to get to 15 points per game, 14, 15 points per game, play his defense and shoot the three, but he has to give us 15 points per game. He cannot show up giving us 9 points per game as a starter in the NBA. It just cannot happen. We just cannot. It just cannot happen. And it can't be that the Knicks don't run plays for him. We need to run him off screens or kick it out to him more. No, it's not that. He needs to be able to produce buckets. Within the offense, he needs to be able to be a creator, to produce his own buckets. So but if the Knicks feel that he cannot do that, then we need to not necessarily move off from him, but make a trade where we can get a real starter there at the two spot. But let's say if we do that and we sign Josh Hart, then what we got Quentin Grimes for? You know what I'm saying? These are conversations that we need to have when it comes to these Knicks here. So anyway, I just want to say what's up to my guys here that popped in listening to the pod. While I do that, I'll just put the salary cap here so people can look at that while we're talking here. But a few people popped in here. I just want to shout out to the first one here. This is Mr. Knicks are nice. Shout out to my man here. Jarrell's always here. Always one of the first that comes in. Mega NYK, what's good, my brother? Yeah, I wonder what you guys think about this. He said Roby's my guy. I really think Roby's a good player. I think that he's got the short end of the stick because of his salary. He's just a victim, salary cap victim. Well, wherever they need to make a roster move, he just happens to be that guy at the bottom of the totem pole that's just going to get whacked, whenever it's time. But San Antonio picked him up, which is a good sign, right? One of those organizations that like to pick up diamonds in the rough. You know what I'm saying? They weren't able to resign him now because look, they got that French kid coming. And they got other players too at that spot that they need to be accounted for too. So again, Isaiah Roby's a victim of the salary cap thing there. So the Knicks, being a good organization now, let's give the Knicks credit. Knicks are a good organization because all these guys that I mentioned, Obi Toppin, quickly, Quentin Grimes, Jericho Sims, McBride, RJ, even Mitchell Robinson, all these young guys are players that we picked up. So we're doing a great job with the Knicks. It's not, outside of everybody's hate for Julius Randle. All the other things that we've done with this team has been excellent. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. But Roby, I think he has potential to really solidify a spot on this team, and maybe even give us an option going forward where we can actually move off of Julius Randle and really, be confident and give the young boy the spot. That's how much I like Isaiah Roby. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Uh, we might have to trade my favorite Nick, Sims. Sims, yeah, Sims is one of my favorites too. But listen, not everybody can get to the end. I make this comment all the time. I used to say this to State all the time when we used to do the Die Hard State of Mind show. Is that in let's say what year was it, 1989 or whatever year it was? We had Johnny Newman and we had Rod Strickland and we had all these guys. You know what I'm saying? It was 89 or whatever. Fast forward to 94, the year that we went to the finals, none of those guys was on the roster except for Oakley. You know what I'm saying? Not even John Starks was on that roster at the time. The only person that's on that roster from in the 94 championship team when we went against the Houston Rockets, the only players that were there from that team, I believe was Ewing and Oakley. That's it. I don't even think we had Mason at the time. So it's very odd how people get so hyped up about certain players. Oh, do we need to sign a guy to mentor guys? No, we need to move on and get better as a basketball club. Because why are you so worried about getting these bums or these kids that are not ready? So worried about getting the minutes. If you make the right moves, we can be in the NBA Finals within a couple of years. You know what I'm saying? So right now, the window for getting better is now because, like I said, I got the salary cap here. The salary cap also has the age. Brunson is 26. Julius is 28. Mitchell Robinson, he's going to live forever. He's 25. You know, Josh Hart is 28. We want to get him back on here. RJ Barrett, always young. He's only 22. Yeah, but he's 22. Time goes on. He was 19 when he first got here. So, I mean, time really flies, man. Hartenstein is 25. Mitchell Robinson is actually older than Hartenstein. Obi Toppin is the same age as these guys, 25 years old. So before you know it, in 2 years, these guys will be 27. You know what I'm saying? RJ Barrett, with all the stuff that he has been going through, it hasn't been getting better. And in 2 years, he'll be 25 himself. He'll be at that age where, where is this player that we all talked about? Quentin Grimes in 2 years, he'll be 25. So, it's interesting, man. It's interesting to talk this stuff out here. But let me just see what else you guys are saying here. Everybody's saying what's up to each other. Yeah, Quan is one of my favorites, man. When he wrapped up my man here, when he wrapped up Robin Lopez, that just solidified it for me, man, because it just shows that the guy wasn't afraid. And he wasn't afraid he locked him up like it was nothing. And then Robin was so pissed. You know what I'm saying? And it caused a disruption, but it didn't cause a disruption on the Knicks side. It caused a disruption on the Cavs side. And it also broke them too, because some guy off the bench you never heard of just folds up an NBA veteran like this, physically. Like look at that. It's like he put him in a WWF move or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So, it just shows the toughness of the player, and I just really think that's amazing there. Like I said, outside of the goon stuff, man, the guy could shoot the three. Like I said, to me, the guy's like a Bruce Brown. For guys that are watching the finals, Denver, he reminds me of Bruce Brown so much. So I think that Daquan Jeffries can actually be like that. Just about a necessity. If the Knicks make better moves to get more star-like players, that's how guys like Daquan Jeffries could really we could really take advantage of their skill sets. Yeah, I guess you're talking about Daquan too. Daquan is a good post-up player. He's definitely a good post-up player. Uh, both of these guys, this guy, Dwayne Washington Jr., he averaged a lot of points in the G League. Daquan Jeffries was averaging a lot of points in the G League too, man. So I mean, the G League doesn't always translate to the NBA. Because shout out to McBride. McBride always lights up the G League, but he doesn't do that in the NBA. He's really a 3-and-D kind of guy. McBride is another guy that we got to figure out too. McBride is a good third string point guard, 12th man. That's somebody that you're ready to give him a head, a real spot. But his defense is so good that's how he finds minutes ahead of guys that he shouldn't be playing over. So that's interesting too, man. All these different players here that we have here. McBride is 22. All these players that we have at the end of the bench, these are guys that can actually help us. If we decide to stop babying Obi quickly in these guys, you know what I'm saying? If we need to add some of these guys to a trade, like I'm trying to say, to get a better player, to get an all-star caliber player, or a real NBA level starter, you know what I'm saying? If we could trade some of these guys, we have fallback plans. That's the point of this podcast. We have fallback options in these three guys that I mentioned, even Jericho Sims and McBride. We have fallback options where these guys can take the spots back in his rotations. Randall is staying. See, listen, I think Randall's staying too. I really don't, because I mean, last year he made 23. This year he makes 25. Somebody that made the all NBA team only make $25 million, and guys that keep saying that oh his contract is atrocious and this and that, he only makes $25 million, bro. Somebody with his same credentials, they're all making 30. They're all making 30. Shout out to Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson did us a favor, bro, because he averaged 27 last year. At the end of his contract, he's gonna be making $24 million. At the end of his contract, he's making 24. So he's gonna make less than he made his first year. So he did us a favor. Because Brunson absolutely probably should be getting 30 something million per year. Same thing with Julius. He should be getting 30 something per year. He never makes that as a Nick. He probably Julius Randle probably would never see $30 million per year based off of his little sidebar stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, $25 million for a guy that does with his credentials. Why are we getting rid of that? I just don't understand. Julius Randle's a dick, but listen, get better players here. That way, Julius Randle don't have that responsibility to be the star. Say put the ball in Jalen Brunson's hands, get somebody else in there that can really handle the ball, and score. And then that pushes Julius Randle further down the totem pole. Get Julius Randle around 18 minutes per game and 10 rebounds. Excuse me, not 18 minutes, 18 points per game and 10 rebounds. Get Julius around there. He'll be super efficient. He'll be somebody that be invaluable. Somebody that doesn't have the ball in his hand, dribbling in between his legs a million times. Make somebody that actually could do that. Make them do it. And then make Julius Randle the receiver. I just don't know what else to say about that. Instead of calling Julius Randle everything out the book, there's other ways to get around it. And like I said, $25 million for next year is not a lot of money for a guy with his credentials, man. So I'll keep it going down here. Guys are excited, actually excited about some of these guys. Yeah. So I mean, you guys are my audience, man. So I know you guys rock with basically most of the stuff I say. Because I think we all see the game the same way. Shout out to Holcomb. Yeah, work listening to me. Yeah, man, this is interesting because on Monday, like I said, this is my wedding anniversary weekend. So me and my wife celebrated 10 years being married, man. So that's why I'm off today. So that's why you're catching me here in the middle of the day because I don't have anything to do at the moment. The kids are in school. So I had a little bit of time. We had some stuff they had to do this morning. So right now we got a little time frame before we get up and start doing more chores and shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you're seeing me so early in the afternoon today. I would like to keep this slot open like around 12:30 or so for to drop some pods and stuff. We'll see. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it because like I said, there's always something going on with me. That's why I've never been able to really stick to a schedule. Everything is just really random and last minute. Like this pod was last minute and random. But like I said, this the talking points here. Just to remind people that if anybody popped in, we talked about Daquan Jeffries, we talked about Isaiah Roby, and we talked about Dwayne Washington Jr. Like I said, I really believe these guys here could possibly help us down the road. It could be for adding them to a trade, yes, or it could be in the aftermath of trading your favorite Nick, to get the team better. I think those guys can actually fill in spots, and then we'll feel like we never missed a beat. Shout out to Dwayne here. Dwayne reminds me of John Starks a lot, because he could jump too. Like I said, he could shoot it, he can get to the basket, he can do everything. He reminds me of John Starks so much. Because I mean, like, what if we do make the trade for some of these guys? This guy can actually fill in the spot as a backup two, a backup three, or whatever you want to say, a backup one or two. And then what if he really comes along and starts playing well? You know what I'm saying? Then like we found another diamond in the rough, you know? Yeah, so I mean, we got to make some decisions here. We got to make some decisions with the Knicks. This is a transition year. We really can't mess up because I mean, making too many stupid ass moves, to bolster the bench, and then we still didn't fix the starters thing. We're gonna miss the playoffs. We're definitely gonna miss the playoffs. Because this offseason is gonna be crazy. Everybody's gonna be trying to get better. You know, I see trade Obi's getting traded to the Pacers. I can see that. I really would like to get what's my man's name? I'm not really good at remembering shit because I'm getting old. But what's the shooting guard? They have a shooting guard over there in Indiana that's been traded so many different times. Man, I can't think of Money's name, but he's a sniper, and I think that he would be a good basketball player to play with Brunson. So let me just do that. Indiana roster. Check out the Indiana Pacers roster. Uh, I guess I got to say Indiana Pacers. Indiana Pacers roster. So let's take a look at that real quick. Buddy Hield. So Buddy Hield, Buddy Hield doesn't really make much either. So I mean, if we was to make a trade to get Buddy Hield, Obi Toppin was a part of it. People would be pissed off, and people don't really like Buddy Hield that much. But Buddy Hield can shoot threes, man. And what do we need next to a Brunson? That's the question you need to ask. As a starter, what do we need next to Brunson? I think Buddy Hield will actually fit that to a T. You know what I'm saying? And just getting rid of Obi Toppin is not a big deal because, like I said, if we were to do that, get rid of Obi Toppin, we already got his replacement. And his name is Isaiah Roby. I think. I think we already got his replacement. So I'm not worried about that. So that's something that's it intrigues me so much, man. Uh, this is Steelers Knicks fans. He says we need mass spacing because it opens up the offense more for Brunson and RJ. I agree with that. So that's why adding a Buddy Hield, in a trade like my man's saying here, trade Obi to the Pacers. Okay, if we do that, then I think we need to try to get Buddy Hield because they already have Indiana. They already have Buddy Hield's replacement on the roster. And Mathurin. Ben Mathurin, Mathurin or Mathurin, whatever you want to say. He's already his replacement. So I think Buddy Hield is available. If you trade Obi for Buddy Hield, I think Obi is probably flourishes in Indiana, and then Buddy Hield is going to be a fixture right there at the starting two guard spot next to Brunson. So I think that would be interesting. Yeah, Roby signed for 2 years. He signed for last year, the last two games of last season, and then he signed for the season coming up. Like I said, $2 million. It's non-guaranteed though. But if he makes the team, that $2 million becomes guaranteed. And I mean, I think that's really good to me. Trading Sims and signing Kai Soto. Kai Soto's a good basketball player. I don't know why he's not on anybody's roster. I think that's weird, but we'll see. He said Roby is good defensively but horrible offensively. I don't think so, man. Like really, Felicia Lee. I'll just do a quick Google search of uh, Isaiah Roby. Isaiah Roby got some game to him, man. You'll be really surprised. Please check out Isaiah Roby on YouTube here. I didn't play any videos, but I mean, like I'm saying, you can see it here. He's a really good basketball player. You know what I'm saying? So just interesting. Uh, thanks for tuning in, guys. By the way, shout out to Knicks fan Brazil, always working hard. He just got an interview with Miles McBride's brother. I mean, this guy is on it, man. People don't turn him down either. So that's what's up. But people wonder how come I don't interview people because I don't want to interview people. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to. I like this is not my thing. Leave it to the professionals like Knicks fan Brazil. Let him interview the people. Let other podcasters have beat writers and stuff like that and ask them questions like I give a fuck about their opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like some people look at my pod and don't value my opinion. But listen, I don't value a lot of these guys' opinions. You know what I'm saying? But at least I keep it real and say that. You know what I'm saying? So like you probably won't. It'll be very rare if you ever see somebody on here that's in the mainstream media, unless it's somebody that I really respect. You know what I'm saying? And I'm already having conversations with them offline. You know what I'm saying? So you might see somebody like that, but outside of that, I'm not gonna have somebody come on here and ask them questions. Oh, so what do you think about the offseason, man? Fuck that. And let's talk basketball. That's my thing. Let's talk basketball. I don't want to sit here and brown nose anybody. And people have no problem with that. Not saying that Knicks fan Brazil brown noses. I think Knicks fan Brazil really gets people on there for the culture, and really like to just to talk guys out and have a good time. That's what Knicks fan Brazil is about. I'm a little bit different. Everybody's different. Everybody's different as they should be on this thing. Nobody should be putting out the same content because that shit is whack. I see Sherwin. Peace to Sherwin. I haven't seen Sherwin in a while. Sherwin's talking about Taco Fall here. Peace to Sherwin. So him and Jarrell are going at it here. Jarrell don't watch highlights. Everyone looks good in highlights. Yeah. But what else do we have? When it comes to the draft, everybody says, "Oh, I love this guy. I love that guy." You want to base your whole franchise on something that you saw on YouTube. A lot of people are guilty of that. You can't really knock them either, man, because not everybody has the time to be a full blown scout and still have enough money to buy toilet paper to wipe your ass. You know what I'm trying to say? Same thing with this pod. I can never come up with the schedule because my life is just way too random, and I work way too much overtime to even admit on on the live stream. Too much overtime. It's crazy. Anyway, just taking a look and make sure I don't miss anything. There's a lot of guys are making comments and stuff. Sherwin is there, definitely talking back and forth. Andy, Mr. Andy's here. Yeah, so the guys are just talking about Roby. Definitely has an NBA body. I really like the kid. I really like the kid a lot. I really want the kid to get an opportunity to be on somebody's rotation. I think he's really good. Daquan, very serious. I mean, the guy is unflappable. That's why I said he reminds me of Bruce Brown a lot because Bruce Brown is one of those guys that don't play no games either. And then he made himself. He's a self-made player. He played in Brooklyn, made himself to Denver. Now he's in the finals. Guys, that's not by accident. The guys are hard workers and stuff like that. So it is what it is. See, that's one thing too. Most of these pods are bogus. There's a lot of podcasts out there. I want to say that like the Knicks probably have the most podcasts out of any genre or any subject in the history of the internet. And there's so many different platforms too. Some people only do stuff on YouTube. Some people only do stuff on Twitter. Some people do stuff on audio podcasts and stuff like that. So there's so many different avenues and venues for you to get your Knicks news out. So I don't understand why people put up with bullshit or put up with stuff that they don't really rock with. Go find somebody else that you like, because there's so many of us out there. Not only myself, of course I would like you to hit the thumbs up button. I have it at the bottom of the screen. Hit the thumbs up button and please subscribe. You know what I'm saying? I would appreciate that. But there's so many different voices out there, man. Please get out there and just listen to see what people are talking about. You might find somebody that you really like, and then you get a chance to listen to them in real time before they give it up. you know, before they stop doing it. Encourage guys if you really enjoy their content and stuff. Yeah, man. So this cat news, man. I mean, listen, cat. People have a big opinion about cat, but the issue with that is like his contract is the number one to me. But if we was to trade for cat, right? I don't want to trade Julius in that situation. I don't want to trade RJ in that situation. I don't want to trade anybody big. It would have to be some of these lower guys, Obi Toppin, quickly, Mitchell Robinson, and all that. Put those guys in a trade for a Karl Anthony Towns. Now you show up next year with Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, Julius, and RJ on the same team. You know what I'm saying? For teams that can't get a superstar, you have to get you have to get all-star caliber players. Now, if you can't, like I said, if you can't get the superstar, you have to pack in some all-star caliber players. Some of these guys are gonna have to make sacrifices. That's where Julius comes in. Everybody wants Julius to make that sacrifice to take the ball out of his hands. So in that situation, Julius should take the back seat to Cat and to Brunson. If RJ is playing well, then it is Julius needs to take a back seat to RJ. It is what it is. Take the ball handling out of Julius Randle's hands and we'll be so much better. But we don't do that unless you make a move to get a better player in here. And then that changes the roles. And I just think that's very important. If you got Julius Randle not being the go-to guy, he's still going to give you 18 and 10. I don't think it's possible to stop him from getting 18 and 10. Because he can hit the three-point shot, he can lay it up. He can hit the mid-range stuff like that and stuff like that. He can create his own shot. So if you give it to him on a low level, he's still going to get you 18 points per game. And then he can have more and more energy to concentrate on rebounding and stuff like that. So I think that's interesting. Duarte. Duarte is a big name here with the Indiana trade and stuff, but I think Duarte. I don't think Duarte is what we need. I don't think Duarte is what we need. Is Duarte a small forward or is he a two guard? We always could use wings, right? That's what everybody says, but we don't need backups. We don't need guys to back up because that's the point. We have guys that are already backups on the squad. We need guys that can start. So is Duarte a starting small forward to you? Is he a starting shooting guard to you? I don't know. So he's a little older too, so that's something that needs to be talked about as well. He goes Sherman. He said, "Why not concentrate on what the Knicks need? We need an all-star potential small forward, a backup power forward, and a backup point guard. We don't need a center or shooting guard." Okay, that's your opinion. We don't need a center or shooting guard. Quentin Grimes, he could take the next step. Okay, cool. Josh Hart is probably going to be re-signed. We don't need a center. Okay, cool. So we need a back. Here it goes. We need a backup power forward, which is somebody that I think we already got here with this kid. And he said we need a all-star potential small forward. So by getting that all-star potential small forward, then what does that do to RJ? You know what I'm saying? What does that do to RJ? Do we trade Julius for this all-star small forward? So then what happens? Does RJ become the power forward? It's just weird. There's other ways that we can go about it, but the Knicks also don't have money. We don't have any money in the cap. So there's guys like Naz Reid that I really like. We could sign Naz Reid. But Naz Reid, we got to sign him. We don't have money. So Buddy Hill makes 2.48. Okay, cool. But to get that all-star small forward, maybe we could trade Quentin Grimes or some of these guys to get that guy. And then Buddy Hill will be somebody that we can rely on to be that shooter because he's been one of the better 3-point shooters in the league the last 4 or 5 years already. And he's still young. So Buddy Hill can come in and solidify that position for us. But like I said, we're not going to trade guys to just come here and do nothing for us. If we're gonna trade a Quentin Grimes or make a decision to trade quickly or Obi, we're not going to trade them for some bums. We're going to trade them for significant talent. There's no way around that. You know what I'm saying. So that's what we have to look at that. If we're forced to trade some of our favorite players here, then best believe we better be getting a good player in return. To make it worth it. To make it worth the fight. You know. So Obi for Duarte, I get that. That might be decent because we need Obi Toppin to be a small forward, and Duarte's already there. So that's interesting. I get that. Nice little lateral trade though. But like I said, the Knicks need a starter. Is Duarte going to start for us if he comes here? RJ's our starter at the small forward spot. Do we slide RJ to the 2? A lot of people seem to like that. So if we do that, is Duarte the answer at the 3? These are questions that we need to ask. We need to ask. We really need to figure out these answers to these questions. Shout out to Kareem. What's good, my brother? I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, man. A little earlier pod here on Monday. I'm gonna try to do Mondays around this time. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get free to do it. But thanks for guys for tuning in, listening, and coming back, coming in and out the pod, seeing what I'm talking about. A lot of comments here right now. Duarte. Everybody's talking about Duarte. I want to talk about Miles Bridges too, but Ingram, you guys are talking about Ingram. Ingram is going to require a big package too. Pause. Especially with this guy over there, Mr. Zion, with the stuff that he's going through right now. Maybe guys like Brandon Ingram and these guys want to get out of there. They don't want to be part of that media circus. So trading for Ingram might be something that's interesting. Miles Bridges is going to be available. If they draft Brandon Miller, that's interesting. If they do that, Miles Bridges, I don't think anybody want to touch him either. He's probably going to be suspended a little bit when he comes back. His talent is off the hook. I really don't want to touch that because it's really crazy. So I mean, if the Knicks did sign him, then the Knicks will have to worry about that media circus because it will be a media circus until we get to a point where we make the playoffs and that type of thing, and then people stop badgering him every day. But it's definitely going to be badgering him every day, which he well deserved, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, basketball talent, signing that Miles Bridges guy, man, he's somebody that will fit the bill there. I think him starting at small forward for us would be fantastic, or him sliding into the power forward spot would be fantastic. It is what it is. But I'm with this too, man. No distractions. We're a team without distractions. So I don't know about signing a guy and bringing him in here to create a distraction for us. I don't know about that. But it's interesting, man. But say Ingram probably don't want to be a part of that. Just assuming, right? And he asks for a trade to get out of that situation. Obi Toppin and IQ to New Orleans would be fantastic. Looking at the salary cap here, as you can see on the screen, Obi makes he'll be making 6 next year. Quickly we're making 4, but they're going to be due for contract extensions. So that's $10 million. You're still going to have to come up with at least 20. So then you add a Fournier to that deal, and then add some draft picks, and there you go. That's how you get Brandon Ingram here. So I'm with that too. Any situation where the Knicks can get better, I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm with it. I have no ties to any player. I like Josh Hart. I think he's funny. If he never plays another game with the Knicks, it's like whatever. As long as the Knicks get better. Like I said, I keep bringing that Johnny Newman thing out there. Johnny Newman was my guy. 1989, I was 10 years old. So I'm really getting into basketball, learning how to play basketball, following the NBA, looking at really falling in love with the Knicks and learning salary cap and learning at 10 years old. That's what I'm doing. So once we got rid of Johnny Newman, I just didn't understand why. But like I said, fast forward to 1994, where now I'm like 15 years old now, I'm a beast at 15 years old. Now I'm a beast when it comes to talking sports and stuff. Now I understand why we went through what we went through at 89 to get us to where we are in 94. So that's the message that I need to just throw out there at the end of this pod here. Just that, for those that oh, we need to trade somebody to mentor the youth. No, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that's a good idea. Shout out to Maurice Cheeks and stuff like that. We traded Ross Strickler for Maurice Cheeks. It wasn't to mentor, it's because the Knicks wanted more veteran leadership out there. That was the stick there in 1989. They wanted to get more veteran leadership over the young guys. That was what they did back in the days. But now, now guys are talking about getting veterans here just to be mentors to other guys. It's like we don't need grown men to babysit other grown men. We just don't need that. Guys need to. They're professional basketball players. They do a lot of stuff. They make a lot of money. They need to get it together. You know, they need to get it together. So there's no babysitting. And we need to get better. We need to get better, and we need to have a strong mind, strong belief in what's happening with the team, with the Knicks, and not really put so much emphasis on these young guys. Or what they can be, or what you think they're going to be in 5 years, and all this bullshit. You play around with time too much, man. Time passes you by. Like I said, at 10 years old in 1989, and then fast forward to 94, I'm 15. I make this analogy also. Patrick Ewing and the Knicks had 13 straight seasons in the playoffs. I believe it's 13 with Ewing, and then we had one extra year, so it ended up being 14 straight years in the playoffs, but 13 with Ewing. In that time span, you want to talk about me being 9 years old, and then me being like 22. So you go from being a little kid, 9 years old, that this voice didn't even change yet, to being 22 with my son about to come into the world. You get what I'm trying to say? That's a long time period. So I mean, people play around with time so much. Before you know it, you can go from being 9 years old to 22 years old in no time. 13 years. That's a long time waiting for the right move to be made, or this, that, and the other. During that time span, 13 years, the Knicks only made it to the finals twice. And I had to wait till I turned 15, and then I had to wait again when I turned 19 for the Knicks to make the playoffs. So, time doesn't wait for nobody. And one thing too, with surgeries and stuff like that, people take that for granted too. Surgeries are a real thing. When you have to get knocked out and they have to cut your body open, you can't take that for granted too. So shame on you guys that, getting that on Julius and saying it's a PR stunt and all this other stuff that people are saying in my comments and stuff. Man, you guys are no good, man. This not really a good mentality. Shout out to Paris Duggar here. He dropping $5 on me today, man. What's up, Paris? Paris says, salute. We're not trading any of my young bloods. Leon thinks like me, keep and grow his own picks, and will be awesome in 2 years. RJ or Randall goes. But yeah, man, I get you. But Jalen Brunson's also 26. So Jalen Brunson, we're gonna keep him here, babysitting little kids, waiting for them to figure out when they're gonna get good, and then Brunson will be 20, 28, going on 29. What the hell? It's just crazy, man. So I appreciate you, Paris, man. You donate to a lot of pods, So I know a lot of the guys they mentioned, but I really do appreciate it, because I mean, for somebody older, retiree and stuff like that, you showing support to the pod the best way that you know how to, and the best way that you do. And I can't go without saying that, that you really do give up a lot of bread. $5, doesn't seem like much, but $5 here, $5 there to every pod that I ever see you on, that's incredible, man. Yeah, so I tipped out to you. So we're approaching the hour here, man. So this is just what I wanted to get off my chest here. Daquan Jeffries, he's under contract for next year. He is non-guaranteed. Somebody that I think they could fill into a backup spot if we need to make some moves. This guy Isaiah Roby, I think he could solidify that backup power forward spot. I really believe in this kid. I think he's a really good talent. Dwayne Washington Jr. is another guy that I just really love. I really love his game. I think this guy's a diamond in the rough. I think if he got an opportunity to play and give him the ball and let him score, I think this guy could be a six man, take over for IQ as a six man if we need to get up off of IQ, to make the team better. So these are things that we need to keep in our Rolodex. For those that are even old enough to know what the fucking Rolodex is, keep it in the back of our minds that we do have talent on this roster that we can fall back on if we need to make that major trade to get that star, that all-star caliber player here. You feel me? So anyway, it's your boy Eru. 4 fingers to the forehead. Bang. Let me take this off here so you guys can see me much better. I don't have my light on. That's one thing. So I wonder why I'm looking at myself and I'm not as bright as I normally am because I don't have my other light on. So anyway, that's a little bit too bright, but it is what it is. Let me turn that off. So anyway, this is your boy Eru. 4 fingers to the forehead, tucking the thumb. Salute. See you guys next time. I really appreciate the support, guys. Please tune in to the Dire Knicks podcast. I'll try to get some pods out this week, around 7, 8, 9, 9:30 or so, because I have plenty of thoughts to get out. I just don't have time to do it, man. But this is something I've been trying to get out for a while. I think more people will start talking about this as time goes on, too, getting closer to the trade deadline and stuff. So anyway, I appreciate you guys listening in the middle of the day. Your boy Ero's out. See you guys next time. Peace.
Eru, I see you. Die hard. Trap. We gonna do this one the right way. We in here forever. Yeah. Die hard. Homie, die hard. You can check the swag, he the realest by far. Swimming in that blue and orange, he the lifeguard. Yeah, he been through pain, at least he got some nice scars. He can smell the trophy, yeah, you need it back to back. Represent himself, his own name is on his back. 10 toes down, try to stop him, he come back. Bandwagon hoppers, he will knock you off your tracks. You ain't saying nothing, Nero been here from the start. He been working in the lab to take his team and make it art. See him going over film to help him build and make him smart. He will tell you how he feels because he's real and he got heart. He will never fade away, he will never change his face. Everybody picking faves, and he's feeling out of place. Cause he is for the team, man, he always rep the squad. Like that Christmas movie, he gon' always die hard. City on my back. They ask me what's my name and it's on my back. I'm just speaking facts. We got big dreams, we ain't looking back. We be really die hard, yeah, that's a fact. We be really die hard, ain't no going back. Make the whole crowd rise like a thermostat. Fourth